Right friends, welcome back to editorial discussion, and there are 5 issues today, and out of 5 from mains examination perspective, critically examine with regard to the impeachment of judges. That may be one question, or you can formulate in different way. I am just telling for the sake of understanding it, the question may be formed in different way. And second important point is changing circumstances in various European Union countries. The changing perceptions in various European Union countries may threaten the integrity of European Union. So, that is one important aspect. Probably it may take place during the next 1 or 2 years. So, that is another important aspect. Look at the first one, outrageous defiance. Justice C.S. Karnan, he is the judge of the Calcutta High Court. He is challenging the Supreme Court, and here Justice C.S. Karnan, several times he alleged corruption among other judges. Then he also accused some of the judges of caste discrimination against him, and sometimes he invoked his caste identity with regard to the filing of cases under National Commission for Scheduled Castes. And at the same time, he passed judicial orders on matters pertaining to selection of judges, and he stayed his own order of transfer from Madras High Court to Calcutta High Court. Under these circumstances, recently he appeared in person before a 7-judge bench on March 31 and was given 4 weeks to respond to the charges of contempt of court, because he himself stopped his transfer order from Madras High Court to Calcutta High Court. When the transfer orders were issued, he himself stopped his own order. So, under contempt of court, Supreme Court called him and he appeared on March 31, and after going back to Calcutta, now he had thrown an open challenge to the Supreme Court. He had thrown an open challenge to the Supreme Court as he issued an order summoning the Chief Justice of India and 6 judges of the Supreme Court to his residential court to face punishment under SC Prevention of Atrocities Act. It appears that he is not mentally in the right state. So, the question comes, what can be done as per the Constitution when the judge is not acting within the tenets of the Constitution? What can be done? That is impeachment. Impeachment of judges. Till date, it has not happened. Only the process started in some cases. It went up to some point, and now I am going to discuss about impeachment. Basically, impeachment of the judges can take place when proved misbehavior or incapacity. Under these 2 circumstances, a judge, whether he belongs to High Court or Supreme Court, can be removed when there are 2 grounds. One is proved misbehavior or incapacity, and for the removal of the judges, the procedure is laid down in Article 124(4). Article 124(4) of the Constitution details the procedure, and some of other procedural aspects are left to the Parliament, and accordingly Parliament in fact passed one act, Judges Inquiry Act 1968. So, based on Article 124(4) and Judges Inquiry Act 1968, based on these 2, the procedure you can delineate. What is the procedure? In fact, some constitutional aspects of how the judge can be removed, and President can only issue the removal order, that is one aspect, and special majority is required in Parliament. For removal, special majority is required in Parliament. These 2 are enunciated in 124(4), and other rules and regulations are drafted under Judges Inquiry Act of 1968. So, in a nutshell, Article 124(4) of the Constitution and Judges Inquiry Act of 1968, these two puts together the rules and regulations requiring the procedure to be followed when judge is to be removed. So, they can be removed from their office by the order of the President, and the President can issue the removal order after an address by the Parliament supported by a special majority of each House of Parliament. So, special majority, 2/3 of the members present and voting, and overall not less than half the members. Please go through the stipulations. If I am not wrong, these are the stipulations. So, special majority is required, and the process, how to initiate the process, that is listed under Judges Inquiry Act. As per the Judges Inquiry Act 1968, the removal motion is to be signed by, initially a motion is to be moved, that is to be signed by 100 members of Lok Sabha or 50 members of Rajya Sabha. They have to move the motion, and in case of Lok Sabha, it is to be given to the Speaker. In case of Rajya Sabha, it is to be given to the Chairman, and the removal motion can be introduced in any of the two houses of the Parliament, and the Speaker or Chairman, Speaker in case of Lok Sabha, Chairman in case of Rajya Sabha, may admit and reject the motion. And if it is admitted, if at all the motion is admitted, then 3-member committee must be formed to investigate into the charges. The committee must consist of a judge of Supreme Court, then the second one is Chief Justice of a High Court, and an eminent jurist. The composition, these three, is in case of impeachment of High Court judge, but if it is the case of Supreme Court judge, then the committee consists of 2 judges from Supreme Court and an eminent or distinguished jurist. So, this way a 3-member committee is to be constituted, and if the 3-member committee finds the judge to be guilty of the charges, misbehavior or incapacity, then only the House can take up for the consideration of the motion, that too with the special majority, please understand. So, the procedure is well established. Finally, the President passes an order removing the judge. So, total procedure is listed out under 124(4) of the Constitution as well as the Judges Inquiry Act of 1968. Right? The procedure is quite clear. Then the second one is the rights thing. In fact, the first article what we have discussed, a question is expected with regard to the critical examination of relevant provisions of impeachment and maintenance of balance with regard to the Parliament, judiciary. So, the type of question which is expected, we will frame it maybe after civil services preliminary examination. We will throw some light on mains questions, types of mains examination questions after civil services preliminary examination, because it requires some careful thought. Then the second one, Army must act quickly on reports of the use of a human shield by its personnel. Here there is a unfortunate news item that Army personnel used a young man as a human shield. This picture, please look into this. Army used a young man as a human shield, and a video clip went viral showing a man tied to the bonnet of the army jeep, and it was being driven through the streets. Right, this is the news item. So, what is meant by human shield? Human shield is basically using a person by abducting him or holding him hostage and potentially put him in harm's way, and these are normally used by terrorist organizations like Islamic State, and in fact LTTE also used them in the closing stages of the civil war, and it is categorized as a war crime by the Geneva Convention. and in fact the present situation in Kashmir needs the attention of the central government immediately. One aspect is polling in Srinagar was held recently. By-poll to Srinagar Lok Sabha constituency was held in the one of the most hostile environments, and please remember only 7% turnout. There may be two reasons for it. One is intimidation by the militants to keep people away from voting, and the second reason can be the alienation of local people, and the security bandobast was aimed precisely to reassure the people and not to force them as us versus them binary. In fact, what happens when such type of incidents recur, then further alienation of the people in Kashmir Valley may take place, right. So, code of conduct vis-a-vis civilians must be strictly implemented by the armed forces, right. Third important aspect, the shifting sands of 2017. This is very important. The author clearly argues that there are several nationalist tendencies coming up in several countries of European Union, and this may threaten the stability of European Union in future. Already UK is exiting from European Union, and the various tendencies in various countries in European Union probably may threaten the stability of European Union as a whole. So, all started with Schuman Declaration, 9th May 1950. The fundamental point is, when countries begin the trade relations, business relations, there is less likelihood of going to war. When countries begin business relations, there is less likelihood of going to war. That is the fundamental principle of starting this European Union. The first one is Schuman Declaration on 9th May 1950, Franco-German production of coal and steel under one central authority was created. That is why we celebrate 9th May as Europe Day, and subsequently Treaty of Paris. This established European coal and steel community in 6 countries. Subsequently, Treaty of Rome or 1957, this is European Economic Community was brought. European Economic Community, the fundamentals, or you can say the foundation was laid for common market and customs union. So, the foundation of common market with customs union was led with European Economic Community. Please understand, there are 6 countries of European Economic Community, and Maastricht Treaty, this is the turning point, or you can say this is the Treaty on European Union. So, with the Maastricht Treaty, this European Union was created on 1st November, and it led to the creation of single currency euro. And subsequently Lisbon Treaty came into force, which amended Rome Treaty as well as Maastricht Treaty, or you can say Lisbon Treaty is reform treaty. European Union was established based on Maastricht Treaty. Based on Maastricht Treaty only, euro, the common currency, was created, or single currency was created, right. This is history. And how the European Union functions: European Commission, Parliament, Council of European Union, European Council, European Central Bank, like that it has got organizations, right. Let us come back to the present discussion. Fact sheet: Eurozone, that means common currency of euro, consists 19 out of 28 members. Maastricht Treaty of 1992 cleared the way for introduction of euro in 1999, and European Economic Area has 31 members. In addition to 28 countries of European Union, Iceland, Liechtenstein and Norway, these are in European Economic Area and Schengen membership. You may have a doubt what is meant by Schengen. With one single visa, you can come across all 26 countries. Then NATO has 20 European Union members. So, European Union countries are intertwined, or you can say they are amalgamated into several aspects in Europe. Then 1957 onwards, what happened? I bifurcated into 1957 onwards. What happened since 2008? Then for the past 2 to 3 years, let us go back. What happened since 1957 onwards? European experiment facilitated establishment of customs union and common market. We deliberated several times with regard to common market and customs union. Please listen to the lecture of Brexit and European Union. Then what happened? Reunification of Germany took place. Reunification of Germany took place. At the same time, collapse of Soviet Union took place in 1991. Then introduction of euro currency as single currency took place in 1999, and this led to strengthening of European Union, or you can say it entered into uncharted political territory. Then common security and defense policy emerged, which resulted in the creation of High Representative of the European Union in 1999. So everything went well up to 2008. Then what went wrong since 2008? The biggest problem is economic strain in several countries. Political pressures generated by more assertive Russia under Mr. Putin, then jihadi extremism globally. Another thing is radicalization of Muslim minorities is taking place in Europe. Then migration challenges due to Western interventions in Libya and Syria. Lakhs of people are migrating to countries like Germany. So this is putting additional pressure. Then radicalization of minority communities in Europe. Then jihadi extremism. Then aging populations. Population is aging because the children are less and aged population are more in Western countries. Demographic dividend is not in their favor. Demographic dividend is in favor of countries like India. Then disruptive technologies and subsequent job losses. Then migration from the poor East European countries to the rich West European countries resulted in some sort of Eurosceptic tendencies or anti-European Union tendencies, you can say. So these are all the reasons which resulted in the situation in several countries now. So since 2008, several countries in European Union are not happy with the present arrangement, and something went wrong for the past 2 to 3 years. One is Brexit, the other one is victory of Donald Trump, which emboldened the nationalistic leaders, and it resulted in more and more anti-immigrant sentiments. So national policies in several countries have seen resurgence of nationalism. People are talking about nationalism. Then anti-immigrant policies are taking roots. Anti-immigrant sentiment is taking roots. Populism has pushed countries away from globalization. Now globalization is the word which least uttered in some European countries. People are talking about protectionism, people are talking about anti-immigration, people are talking about nationalism. So these became buzzword nowadays. Elites stand discredited. The opinion in London is something different from the people's opinion in rural areas. The opinion in Los Angeles in United States of America is something different from the hinterland. Los Angeles predominantly voted for Clinton, whereas hinterland, that means interior areas, voted for Donald Trump. So this became widened in Western countries, elites versus non-elites, rich people versus poor people. So this tendency has grown. Sentiment has turned against European Union and its institutions. More Europe is no longer the acceptable answer. People are not talking about more Europe. In fact, Brexit was the warning signal in 2016, right. So this is the present day reality in some of the European Union countries. Now European Union countries and crucial elections. Recently elections were held in Netherlands. The anti-Muslim platform, anti-European platform increased his seats to 20, that is the Geert Wilders. And whereas the Prime Minister's seats fell to 33, it indicates that anti-European, anti-Muslim tendencies are increasing in Netherlands. Look at France. Marine Le Pen is the main contender, and if Marine Le Pen wins, then what happens? That would push the European Union into a crisis, as she has promised to quit the Schengen regime and that will take out of euro also. So, nationalist leaders or anti-immigration policies leaders are taking roots, or you can say in European countries several leaders on anti-immigrant platform are taking roots. Right. So, Marine Le Pen, if she wins, the future of European Union is doubtful. Then the next one is Germany. In Germany, Angela Merkel is seeking 4th term and she is facing a strong challenge, but the biggest challenge is from Frank Petry, and Frank Petry is Eurosceptic and seeks to reassert German identity while being anti-Islam and denying climate change. So, anti-Islam leaders, anti-immigration leaders like Frank Petry are taking roots in several European countries, which is not acceptable, or you can say which is not good for the overall future of European Union, you can say. Similarly, Italy, in Italy also similar situation is there. I have given the details, please go through it. And if you look at Sweden, Sweden is going to the polls next year. There also Sweden Democrats led by Jimmy Åkesson entered parliament for the first time, and one important aspect is these nationalist leaders are increasing their vote shares. So, the point to note is, if these leaders wins elections in future, then the future of European Union will be in doubt. So, this article we are discussing about the future of European Union, what are the present circumstances, what is going to happen in future, all these things are listed here, and a question is definitely expected on the future of European Union in the mains examination. What is the present situation and how it is going to transform in future, right? And other signals which are against EU unity, I have listed here. Turkey has lost interest in pursuing European Union membership. Turkey, in fact, after the referendum of yesterday, probably it is going more towards a dictatorial president. Then Donald Trump has already asked NATO's European members to increase their defense budgets to long promised target of 2% of GDP. So, Donald Trump says, please take care of your security, we are not going to spend for your security, please increase your defense budget. So, if European countries are not able to extend their expenditure to 2% of GDP, then what will happen? Putin may try to exploit, and some of the East European countries may go into the fold of Vladimir Putin of Russia. So, overall the situation may become complex and things will be clear during the next 1 or 2 years about the future of European Union. So, thought provoking article, you can answer several types of questions on the future of European Union after reading this article, right. So, let us look at the next issue, carpool for cleaner air. Carpool for cleaner air. Here Delhi government made some experiment last year. Let us look into the news report. 30,000 people die in Delhi alone every year due to air pollution. In Delhi itself, because of air pollution, every year 30,000 people die. The main causes are increasing road traffic, of course, factory pollutants and crop and waste burning. And as a temporary measure, last year Delhi government imposed odd even number scheme. On one particular day, odd number of vehicles, on one particular day, even number of vehicles. But as per the news reports, general air pollution in the city, which is measured by PM 2.5, that means finer than 2.5 micron size, or you can say finer particles which go deep into the lungs, they rose by 15% and 23% during the first and the second phase of odd and even rule respectively. And now it is time to look at innovative ways. And one suggestion is being given in this article, this is with regard to hot lanes. The author is suggesting hot lanes. What is hot lane? High occupancy toll lanes. High occupancy toll lanes. Here certain lines, when heavy traffic is there, certain lines will be designated for the vehicles or cars carrying 2 or more people or 3 or more people. That means to encourage the shared cars or shared or pooled vehicles. When pooled vehicles are there, then the total pollution will reduce because number of vehicles on the roads will reduce. So, he is suggesting a mechanism of this high occupancy toll lanes. High occupancy toll lanes, that means separate lanes will be earmarked for the pooled cars. If I am driving alone, that means if the car carries only one passenger, that has to take separate route. That will be heavy traffic route. And if pooled cars are there, separate lines will be earmarked for that. So, these lines will be faster and sometimes some concessions will be given by the government, like reducing the toll charges, and these will be charged more. Traffic, because of traffic it will take more time. So, the author is suggesting to reduce air pollution, one experiment of high occupancy toll lanes. High occupancy toll lanes, and this was the concept pioneered in USA in 1969, and its implementation to other countries has encouraged millions of commuters to opt for car sharing. So, basically the point is dedicate separate lines for the pooled cars, and because of this what will happen, when people are travelling in pooled cars they will be faster, and when people are travelling in the individual cars, then that will be slow because of heavy traffic. So, here one or more lanes on selected roads and highways will be reserved for cars carrying more than a single occupant. So, single occupancy vehicles are restricted to remaining lanes, thereby making the hot lanes relatively faster. So, as per the experiment in US, travel time in hot lane was 29 minutes against 64 minutes in the general lane. So, 29 minutes and 64 minutes because of traffic congestion on the single lanes, and issues to be resolved. If these things are implemented in India, the issues to be resolved are cultural issue. Here disregard for lane driving is quite common. People do not bother about following the lanes. So, disregard for lane driving is there, and that must be tackled first. And second point is, its implementation would require important considerations relating to whether it should be enforced during particular hours, maybe morning 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, something like that, or whether the minimum number of passengers required should be 2 or more. So, it is also to be seen whether hot lane commuters have to pay a lower road toll or completely exempted. So, these are the issues to be resolved, but anyhow it is a very good suggestion, this high occupancy toll lanes. Probably with regard to the issues pertaining to reducing traffic congestion on the roads, you can take some example from this high occupancy toll lanes, right. Then look at the last issue. Before going to the last issue, then further issues to be resolved, government should take the consideration of introducing a differential toll treatment for less polluting and high occupancy vehicles. Electric cars can be exempted from toll tax altogether. So, such innovative measures are the need of the hour, right. Look at the last one. This is Kulbhushan Jadhav case. Overall, the article is talking about whenever any attempt is made for peace process with Pakistani government, then one or the other things happen across the border, and here India-Pakistan relations and at present Kashmir issue. In fact, if you go back for the past 1.5 years, now more and more people are being alienated in Kashmir. That is the real problem or biggest problem for us. Leave Pakistan aside, but the biggest problem in our country at present is more and more people are getting alienated from the mainstream, and this is to be tackled first. 7% voter turnout in Srinagar is one grim reminder of something is bad in Jammu and Kashmir, or you can say Kashmir Valley. So, here if you go back, whenever theatrical moves are involved, in fact, when you look at Pakistan, do not look at it as a single actor. There is government on one side, then second most powerful army, then third is non-state actors or militant groups. So, Pakistani issue can only be solved when these three issues are resolved, or you can say when there is close coordination among these three, because there are news reports Pakistan militant groups are perpetrated by Pakistani army, right, or ISI. So, there are three actors in Pakistan, one is government, second one is army, third one is militant groups. So, whenever some effort is made by the government to solve the problem, immediately what happens, anti-India forces will come into picture. Anti-India forces, we are not sure whether these anti-India forces are supported by military or not, Pakistani military or not, but immediately something happens. When our Prime Minister visited Lahore on Christmas Day in 2015, within a week, Pathankot air base attack happened. It happens almost every time, and for the present situation in Kashmir, there are several other aspects are also there. Death of Mufti Muhammad Saeed, in fact, that resulted in further vacuum in Jammu and Kashmir. Basically, Mehbooba Mufti, the daughter of Mufti Muhammad Saeed, also delayed in taking over the chief ministership. So, that is another reason. Then, if you look at the Kashmir issue, death of Burhan Wani, and he is a self-styled commander of the Hizbul Mujahideen, that inflamed the already restive Kashmir Valley. And another important aspect is pellet guns, where some youth lost eyesight, that further infuriated Kashmiri youth. And the flashpoint is just 7% turnout in Srinagar Lok Sabha election by poll. And in Pakistan, if you see, the absence of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif for some time in 2016, basically because of his heart problem, and at the same time their family members' names were figured in the Panama leaks that further strengthened the Pakistani army. So, there are several reasons for the present situation in Kashmir Valley, right. So, India-Pakistan relations and Kashmir situation. So, you can take these points if you look at the present day Kashmir situation. And Kulbhushan Jadhav case, there are several unanswered questions. In fact, India also to clear one or 2 points, there are doubts in the minds of the people. Here you see, India claims Jadhav was conducting business out of Chabahar in Iran for many years after retiring from the Navy. After retiring from the Navy, he was involved in conducting business out of Chabahar after retiring from the Navy, and India strongly feels that he has been abducted by Pakistani state or non-state actors from Iran. And here the interesting point is why Iran is not cooperating with India. In fact, during the days when sanctions were imposed on Iran, India maintained cordial relations with Iran. India is going to build Chabahar port, and India used to purchase oil in the days of economic sanctions on Iran. So, Iran used to purchase or still purchasing basmati rice from India. In the days of economic sanctions also, India purchased Irani oil, Iran purchased India's basmati rice. So, what happened now? Why Iran is silent? Iran is not happy with the recent developments where India is somewhat inching closer to Sunni group of countries. That is to be looked at, right. Then another reason may be Iran may not want to antagonize Pakistan by involving in Kulbhushan Jadhav case. Then despite specific provisions in the Vienna Convention on consular relations, India was denied access to Mr. Yadav. So, India asked 14 times for consular access when our citizen was arrested in Pakistan. Then as per Vienna Convention, he should be given access to the consulate. But Pakistan is not responding in spite of India's request 14 times. It clearly indicates that the Pakistan establishment does not want that truth to be revealed about the peace and manner of arrest. What is in the mind of Pakistan? Nobody knows. Then Indian argument is, this appears to be valid argument, spies and operatives, in fact, if he is on espionage, why he will carry Indian passport? The biggest question which Pakistan has to answer is, if he is on espionage, why he will carry Indian passport? He will normally carry some fake passport of other country. Then it is not clear why Mr. Jadhav is operating under a Muslim name. His name is something else on the passport, and why Mr. Jadhav is operating under a Muslim name, and if he did convert, we are not sure whether he converted or not. If he did convert, why the government keeps referring him by his earlier name? Details are not available, and India has not challenged the authenticity of his passport, implying that it was not obtained by fraud or faked by Pakistan. India should strongly protest. There may be Pakistan might have faked his passport, and these aspects must be looked at. So, these are the questions which does not have answers at present. Why Pakistan took this decision at this juncture? Pakistan took this decision at this juncture because of 2-3 reasons. One is the disappearance of ex-ISI Pakistani military officer in Nepal. The second one is it may be a desire to stoke further unrest in Kashmir Valley. Kashmir is already into problems. Probably Pakistan may be thinking to stoke further unrest in Kashmir Valley, and it could be some rebalancing between civilian and military authorities in Pakistan, right. So, these are the points why Pakistan took this decision, and now India's worries. Basically, India's worries, the strengthening of bonds between China and Pakistan is the main cause of worry for India. From Indian perspective, the strengthening of bonds between China and Pakistan is the main cause of worry. Another point is, in recent times, United States of America is in the process of restoring primacy of its Sunni allies. In fact, it supported rebels in Syria by attacking the base of Syrian government. At the same time, it attacked Islamic State militants in Afghanistan. So, the actions of Donald Trump are unpredictable, and in recent times, US is in the process of restoring primacy of the Sunni allies, and recent actions are pointers to this. So, if you look at the issues from any of the perspectives, the need of the hour is India has to formulate a concrete policy to unravel the nefarious designs of Pakistan, and the biggest worry for India is at the moment alienation of more and more people in Kashmir Valley. This is to be addressed immediately. If more and more people alienate, then what happens? Things may go out of control in Kashmir Valley, right? So, we discussed 5 aspects. And with this, let us conclude today's editorial discussion, and have a nice day. Thank you.